What's going on, y'all? My name's Carlos. Welcome back to the Hella Inspired Podcast. Today, we are with Mr. Tate, Mr. Collector ATL. He has accompanied us today to do our first in-person podcast episode. I just want to say thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. So you want to just give him a little intro, who you are, what you do?
What's going on, guys? My name is Tate. Collected ATL is the name of the store. We're located here in Marietta Square. We've been on the square for 6 years.
That's his block. His square, this Marietta Square is his block. Y'all better watch out.
This
y'all
is definitely...
Y'all gotta check in. Wait. Collect the ATL if y'all come to Marietta Square. All right. So Tate.
Yeah.
Let's take it back to the earlier days. You know, you played college basketball overseas. You played overseas. You also played college basketball. You won a college national championship. What do you think that taught you just in entrepreneurship, and how did that pave to the man you are today and the business owner you are today?
I feel like growing up, I remember all those days that I would be running stadiums and just preparing in the off season. And it really just showed me that nothing was easy and that a lot was happening behind closed doors before people would see us play on Friday nights. So I kind of just took those same skills and just the mindset of like, yo, nothing comes easy. And I don't expect it to be any other way. That's just life in general. So I didn't think that it was going to be too much of a challenge transitioning into business, even though it has been.
Right. And take me through that night of you winning that college national championship. Like, what was that like? Because, like, me, my highest level of basketball was middle school. Yeah. I was still a hooper, though. Don't doubt me. I still give you that work. But tell me, like, college national championship, bright lights on, what position did you play?
Point guard.
Point guard on the court. Like, take me through that night. What was that like?
Bruh, it was weird, like, seeing me and the homies on the TV screen on ESPN, you know, on the top 10 plays. So I think it was just something that every kid dreams of one day, and you kind of never think that it's even possible. But I played under a great coach. All my teammates were great, and we made it happen, bro. It was incredible.
Yeah, I definitely seen some of them pictures on that video on your Instagram, on the newspaper. I was like, dang, Tate done lived 7 different lives. Like,
you always say that.
Business owner, college, basketball player, like, it's just crazy. It's crazy. So what was that transition like from college basketball to overseas? I know a lot of players, they go college, NBA. Like, why the overseas, and what is that transition like from being just a collegiate player to an overseas professional player?
I mean, bro, there's a lot of layers to that. I feel like even just moving to another country can be a culture shock.
Where did you go?
I was in Iceland.
Wow. Do you know?
Did you not know that?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that.
Bro, I was in Iceland.
Did you learn any other language?
Nah, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't learn the language, but I would say just moving out of the country was a culture shock in itself. And then just like style of play. Once you play at the pro level, it's a lot different from college. Like college is a lot more like structured, but pro level is just more like isolation and more pick and roll. So I was able to like get off and score the basketball a lot more at the pro level than in college.
Do you still pop out here and there just to go get some runs in?
Every now and then I will. I will say I still have it. I'm just out of shape though.
Out of shape. Okay.
I'm out of shape. For sure.
You gotta get a collective basketball league or something.
Bro.
You know, Full Circle be having their basketball events.
They do.
Collected ATL.
Shout out to
starting point guard.
Shout out to my boy Pi at Full Circle. He's the real deal.
Yeah. All right. So, tell me about. So you played overseas, as we know, as I just said. So how did you go from overseas basketball player in Iceland, pick and rolls, you're in Iceland on your own, to owning Collected ATL?
Well, that kind of started young. I remember just growing up playing basketball. It consumed all my life, all my time. And I remember one day I had like a small window. I think I was in the 10th grade. And I asked my dad to take me to New York.
Okay.
And I started realizing that he was making like decent money. So he was like, yeah, I'll take you up there. So he took me up there, and we went to the Billionaire Boys Club store. And Carlos, from there, I just fell in love. Like, I remember going up to the door and like ringing the doorbell and just talking to the staff and just seeing the aesthetic of the store.
Just consuming all that.
Bro, like taking it all in because, you know, I'm a little bit older than you, but like during that time, streetwear was like not a thing for real.
Really?
There was no like stores that you could really go to in Atlanta. Like, I don't even think Wish was open yet.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, bro. So like back then, I got that experience under my belt, and I think I just realized like this is where I want to immerse myself. This is like what I want to start doing. So in my free time, what I would do, I would hit the thrift, and just my classmates would always compliment my sneakers or whatever. So I just started selling to them, bro.
Yeah.
And I didn't know like I was building relationships and
Right.
learning how to like conduct myself and
Right.
having the product clean for the homie or whoever it was.
Right.
So when I look back, I realized like, nah, I was doing it the whole time. It just wasn't official yet. So.
Okay. And speaking of family, you and your brother were in LA, and seeing Fairfax and seeing all those things, that's how you guys created the concept of Collect the ATL.
Correct.
So take me through that. Like, what was that like? Just walking and seeing all these stores. I know Fairfax, even now, is still some, like, back then though, like round two era, like when I was a kid, like you said, we're both different ages, but when I was a kid, round two, that was like the biggest thing, like the vlogs.
That was at its peak.
Like they had the two different stores, the vintage store, and you just seen them dip in the Jordan Supreme 5. Like that was the craziest time ever.
Yes.
So seeing all that and seeing the impact of streetwear in LA, how did that give you the concept or idea of creating Collect the ATL?
Well, at the time, Bape LA had closed down, and they were renting space in a vintage store, which is by the name of Tried and True. That's the name of the store, and they're still open. So we went into the store. We saw that Bape LA was in the back of the store, and the vintage was in the front of the store. So when we walked outside, bro, we just kind of like looked at each other, and I think the light bulb just went off. You know, my brother, he's a tattoo artist, a great one at that, and the light bulb just went off, and we saw how popping it was out there, and we were like, the South just isn't there yet.
Yeah.
So, you know, just bringing this fusion of businesses together would be very innovative. So that was kind of like the train of thought and the inspiration behind bringing our tattoo and our vintage clothing together.
Okay. And your brother tattoos here? Or
He does.
He does. Okay.
Yep.
So you guys got that concept for Collected ATL, then you opened the store in Kennesaw. Unfortunately, the store ended up closing down. So take me through those trials and tribulations. And as a business owner, how did that shape you into having this amazing 6-year success that you have right here that we're sitting in?
Man, that was a very tough time. Like, I knew deep down that this wasn't the end of the road, but in the moment, it felt so just sobering, and I just didn't know how I was going to make it out of that situation.
Yeah.
And one thing that I like about that question is I can really just shed light on being a young black entrepreneur. And I ended up, I don't know if you know this, Carlos, but I ended up getting sued in Kennesaw for leaving my lease early.
I did not know that.
And my dad was solid enough to be like, yo, like, I'm going to pay the majority of it.
Wow.
And you just get me back whenever you get off the ground in Marietta Square.
Shout out to Pops.
Shout out to Pops. And like another thing that I'll say too before we jump, one thing that he told me, he was like, bro, like, you got to look at it this way. They're going to come and sue you, but you got to look at it like when you move to the square, this is just the cost of business. Like, you're going to get hit, but when you move to the square, business should treat you really well.
Like people always say, don't take failure as an L, take it as a lesson.
Bro, yes.
So you just took that loss in Kennesaw as just a lesson, and look what you have now. Like, it's just amazing.
Bro, I thank you for that.
Yeah. So how did you end up in Marietta Square?
So during the time of Kennesaw, we knew that like the tattooing business wasn't really for us, and we knew that we needed to just lean all the way into the clothing. And one day my dad woke up at like 4 a.m. and he said the Lord led him to Marietta Square. He was like, bro, I think you need to have a store in Marietta Square. Wow. So the next day my dad pulled up to the store, and there was a guy in here moving his stuff out, like kind of cursing to himself. And my dad was like, hey, what's going on, bro? And the guy was just kind of fed up with the space. So my dad just called the landlord immediately and was like, hey, what's going on with this space? And the landlord told him that it was going to be available in like a month or two.
Wow.
So we just kind of hopped on it. So I say all that to say that was just nothing but the grace of God. You know, I really believe that.
Yeah. So you mentioned God. How big do you feel like faith plays a role in having a striving business or just a great business like this?
Man, I feel like you got to believe in something bigger than yourself.
Definitely.
I'm going to keep it at that. Like,
Definitely.
you got to believe in something bigger than yourself.
Definitely. And I feel like this is a perfect area. Like, having this store is, you literally have the perfect spot. You're right next to Marietta Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's coming to eat pizza, and why not after you eat pizza want to come shop, buy some vintage clothes, some Atlanta Braves gear, just anything. So I think it's really perfect. So you've been on the Marietta Square now for over 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Through a pandemic, story breaking, you've had a lot of ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think the local community played in helping Collected ATL survive and thrive?
Man, our community, we have the best community here. I feel like during COVID, so many businesses went under,
Yeah.
Small business, big business. There was a lot of companies that went under, but we had a certain protocol that we did during COVID to make sure that everybody was covered as far as like wearing a mask, making sure that we had sanitizer at the front door, only letting a few people in at the store for a moment to shop. So yeah, if it wasn't for our community, like the lights wouldn't be on, bro. It wouldn't be on.
And I know, talking about community and talking about all these things, you sell vintage clothes, but you guys also have your own clothing.
Right.
I remember when you guys did the hoodie, or was it the pants? You guys had the line outside the door. Which one was it?
Man,
it was like a video.
I'm not even sure, bro.
I think it was the hoodie. So take me through, like, just not, so you thrifting and all these things, take me through the mind of a creative, like making these pieces of clothing, putting it out, making films, just giving back to the community in a way, just giving them what Collect the ATL means to you through a piece of cloth. How does that work?
Well, I kind of always wanted my own brand, but I didn't go to design school or nothing. Like I said earlier, I've been so consumed by basketball and my sports career. I always wanted my own brand, but I didn't know how to go about like design and coming up with concepts and visuals and stuff like that. So what I started doing was whenever I would travel the country for inventory, restocking the store, I was just kind of pulling inspiration from certain vintage pieces and trying to make it my own thing. Like maybe take a little bit of it and just like put it into my own. So that was kind of how the brand got birthed. Okay. And from there, it's just been good.
It's been good. It's fire. So speaking of community.
Yeah.
You have a wife. You recently got, how long has it been now?
It's going on 3 years.
Going on 3 years, okay. Yeah. And y'all have an amazing child. She's 1 year old?
Yeah, she's about to be 1 in a couple weeks.
All right, so what has loving and building with your wife taught you about yourself?
Bro, I told you this off camera. That's such a great question. Man, I could answer that so many ways, but the first thing that comes to my mind is before Leslie came into my life, this store was just streetwear and vintage. It was mainly just menswear. And then like as she came into my life, she kind of like saw fit with like what we were lacking. And that was our social media and that was our women's presence. So I think the biggest thing that it's taught me is to just be open-minded about growth and being not stuck in your own vision. That's been the biggest thing that I've learned. It's not being stuck in my own vision.
Do you think, because I know a lot of creatives, a lot of kids young nowadays, they think that, having that girlfriend or that wife just slows them down. How do you think she has, she's obviously helped you out.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what do you say to people that just say like having that support system or having that girlfriend or wife in your life just slows you down? What do you think about that?
Zoom in on the camera. This is like the most important part of this interview. Young guys, older guys, young girls, older girls. I feel like it's the complete opposite. If anything,
really? Okay.
If you have the right woman, she's only going to improve your life. So whenever Leslie came into my life, everything that may have been lacking or may have been an area that I needed to grow in, it's only gotten better. So it's really just about focusing on yourself and making sure that you're good before it's time to, have that wife or have that partner. That's my opinion on it.
That's a great opinion. I agree with you in a way, like having that support system, having that backbone, like when you're having that hard day, or when you just need that extra, lift up, they're there. And I feel like that support system does help a lot.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of nowadays too, we get just stuck in this hole of creating. We don't really leave that space of just love or that self-love in a way.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, it's way deeper than just support too. It's like, it's perspective too.
Yeah.
Like, I have blind spots. You got blind spots. Most women are into the details.
Definitely.
So they're gonna see into your life and see what's going on and be like, I think we could work on this, or I think, you can grow in this area. But it's up to you to be open enough to listen to that, and apply it.
So I know we've been talking about clothes, we've been talking about your store, and I want to pause on that for a little bit. I don't know if y'all know watching, but Tate is a rapper.
Oh my God, this came out of nowhere.
He makes music and they hits.
Bro.
So tell me, obviously clothes,
You're crazy.
all this, you make clothes, all this. So tell me how being an artist, how has the pieces and the clothing, everything just affected, how have you poured that into your music?
I feel like fashion and music is synonymous. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, So like all the guys that I used to look up to when I was young, as far as like hip hop goes, they always had the clothes, bro. And like I had a conversation with an artist by the name of Stally, and he pulled up on me one day and we were hanging out, and I pretty much told him, I was like, bro, like I remember being in high school and I remember seeing how you looked on the screen and you look so cool. It made me want to listen to the music.
Yeah.
So I was just like, nah, like the clothes, it plays a very important part into the music.
We dropping anything soon?
I don't know.
All right, that's a mystery. We gotta see. So looking back at your journey through clothes, music, everything, all the amazing things you've poured into this store, what do you think you've learned most, and what are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of staying true to myself. Like I remember coming up, people may not understand like why you are the way that you are, or like why you wear clothes the way that you wear clothes.
Right.
And you can kind of, after a while, you can kind of be in your head about it, and you can kind of like maybe question yourself. But I think looking back at my younger self, I'm most proud of just being true to like myself and not giving up on that. So now I can look back and be like, wow, like I followed my intuition. I followed who I was supposed to be the whole time.
How old are you now?
31.
31. What would 31-year-old Tate tell 15-year-old Tate if he had a chance to have a conversation with him? One thing, what would you tell him?
Not to worry. Like what's done is done. It's already written. That's the most, I know it's cliche, but it's already written.
Right.
And there's nothing that I can do. There's nothing that I can't do to, that's like going to be a part of destiny. I believe in destiny.
Yeah,
You
definitely. All right. You've described sourcing as a treasure hunt. What does a day of just typical vintage or just thrifting look like for you?
Every day is different. Like tomorrow, for an example, I have like a house call pretty much where a person is just trying to sell some stuff to me at their house. So I'm going to pull up and see what they got. So that's one way. Another way is sometimes I'll go out of town and go into the warehouse and I'll dig all day. And pretty much like what that looks like is I'll go into a warehouse and it's wholesale to where like if I find a pair of Levi jorts or something, they'll be like, okay, we can do $12 on that. If I find a Polo Sport fleece, okay, we can do $8 on that. If I find a hockey jersey, we can do $15 on that. So that's kind of like how it looks getting the inventory. And then, of course, like we'll hit thrift stores every now and then too, but it's hard filling up a store relying on a thrift store.
Yeah.
So I would say like the warehouses are the main ways, and just like local buys are the other way.
How is Rose Bowl?
Bro.
I've always wanted to go. It just looks so
Carlos.
so amazing.
You have to make that happen, bro.
Yeah, I definitely do.
I don't even want to try to like overhype it, but it's one of those things where it's like you're there and you can't even believe that this is a thing. Like I'll give you a small example. So like Rose Bowl, the people that set up to vend, they show up at like 5 a.m.
I've seen the videos. It's insane.
Bro, they show up at like 5 a.m. before the sun is even up. They have their little flashlights on, like looking at inventory. And a lot of the Japanese buyers,
oh my gosh,
they come over and buy a lot of the vintage and take it back.
Yeah.
So Rose Bowl is very dope. Like, it's broken down into 2 sections. So like on one side of the bridge, it's all vintage. On the other side of the bridge, it's all like antiques and furniture.
That's so cool.
So bro, it's amazing.
Do you have any grails that you haven't like gotten yet or gotten to just get achieve yet? Do you have any grails of clothing?
Bro, of course.
What's on the top of that list?
Top of the list right now, I would say probably Martine Rose Nike Shox. That's one. The little
clean.
mule.
That's clean.
That's one. As far as clothing goes, I'm really getting into Yoji, bro, into Y3. So I want to get like some pleated pants by Y3.
Yeah, really dope.
Yep.
Me, I'm a vintage. Going towards vintage, I'm a Bob Marley tee guy. I love Bob Marley
Really?
tees. Yes.
I'm gonna have to take a note of that, bro.
Yeah, I love them. Like I think I have as a right, like I have like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But I love stacking them because I feel like he was such an influential person.
Yeah.
And the graphics on those vintage tees are always so dope.
Some of those get expensive too.
Yeah.
Some of the Bobs
yeah, they do. And then for shoes, Dornbecker Forest.
Dornbecker, hold up. The lime green and black? Yeah.
Superman on the tongue.
Yeah.
That's my grail. I need
What are those
them.
going for?
I don't even
like
know.
5,000?
6, 7. I don't even know.
That's
It's crazy.
insane.
So speaking of sourcing your pieces on this stuff, are there any styles or eras that you feel most connected to?
I would say I feel most connected to 70s era. I like 70s a lot because the graphics were a lot more like vibrant and it's almost like you could feel the energy from back then, like the free spiritedness. Even just when it comes to like 70s music as well, I've just always kind of gravitated towards 70s and older. And that's what you call true vintage too. Like 90s and 80s is real popular right now. But like once you get into like 70s and before, it just gets more and more expensive and more rare.
Take me through the process of of taking care of those pieces. Like what, like washing, all that stuff. Like how difficult is it to get a shirt from the 70s or 60s and just make sure it looks well, to not only sell it, but to just have it in the store as just like showcase it?
Yeah, I mean, to be real, I'm a nerd when it comes to this business, bro. Like, I really am. Like,
you have to be. You're very passionate. You gotta be willing to just go all out for it.
Yeah, I'm a nerd about this business. So I learned different techniques. Like, I'll give you one of my favorite techniques, bro. So like, let's say I come across a 70s t-shirt and it's got like some oil stains on the chest or something. What I'll do, I'll get some baking soda and then I'll get like some blue dish soap with the oxy in it. And bro, I'll put it like in a bowl and scrub it together and then pour it on the grease stain on the shirt. Let it sit for like maybe 2 or 3 hours. Then I'll throw it in the washer on cold. Bro, the grease stain is gone.
Wow. That's crazy. I'm definitely have to. I'm not look back at this video and just put that one on
so
my
many,
notes.
Any technique y'all need, bro, I got it. Trust me.
That's crazy. So let's shift back to more of the community part where we're talking. So you've built a strong online presence on Collect ATL. The Instagram, everything is popping. Every day I see someone. You guys do the pictures. Y'all done caught me a couple times looking crazy on there, but it's okay. I do it to support the store.
I'm just glad that you did it, though.
I do it to support the store. But yeah, you've created a strong online presence alongside the physical store. What's been your approach to growing Collect the ATL on these platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and et cetera?
I would say we try to keep it as simple as possible. Like, we don't want it to be super salesy. So what we try to do is like, we try to do like a lot of storytelling or, you know, there's certain videos where we try to make it a little bit funnier, you know, so that's kind of our process. We want it to be about us, about the team, and not so much, yo, come buy this t-shirt, come buy this. Because we already know that the product is here. We know we restock the store every single week.
Yeah.
So we just try to like storytell, whether that's about the item or whether it's about us or anything that happened.
Yeah.
And we just try not to be super salesy.
Yeah, I can definitely say, like, going off the Instagram, like, when I came in here, it was a lot more comfortable than going into any store out here. Because a lot of the people, like, when you go into, like, a store like this, you would think, like, they're going to judge me because of what I got on. They're going to do this. But people really don't care. Like, you're a super dope dude. Like, you come in here and you feel at home. You, like, you shopping at your crib. Like, you're shopping in your living room. Like,
I mean, bro, that's important. Like, that was the first thing that I learned in business was customer service.
Yeah.
So I'm real big on, like, our team about whenever people come through the door, you have to make them the priority. There's no being on the phone.
Yep.
Engage with them. Have a conversation. The same way me and you are connecting right now. See what they're up to today.
Exactly.
See what brings them to the square.
Yeah. So, how do you keep the brand aligned with culture, community, and creativity while also staying consistent as a business?
Bro, these are immaculate questions. I would say we follow our taste and we trust our taste. That's the best that we can do. But we're also open enough to listen to our other team members. So like, I'll give you an example. A lot of our staff is in high school.
Yeah.
I'm 31 years old. So I can't be stuck in just like what I think is dope as far as sourcing. I got to listen to them and see what the younger guys and younger girls are gravitating towards as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my answer, just making sure we continue to follow our taste. And if we follow our taste, everything's going to be fine, bro.
Yeah, I definitely think having that younger perspective is really important because these are the kids that are coming in here and shopping most of the time. It's those high schoolers or those college students. They want those vintage pieces. They want to feel aligned to those pieces. So I think taking advice from them is definitely one of the biggest keys.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why y'all are so successful, honestly.
Because, bro, to be real, not to cut you off, there's certain things in here that I wouldn't pick up. But I'm like, I have to be open to, like, growing the business.
Definitely.
And, like, giving the neighborhood what they want.
Exactly.
So
I think this is a good question. I'm excited to hear your answer on this one.
Oh, God.
It's not a big one. We ask it on everybody, to everybody. So what inspires you?
Nature inspires me, bro. Nature inspires me because, like, when I step into the sun or if I go hiking or just any of those things, bro, it's like I feel so much more renewed and I feel so much more connected. And from that connection, it kind of teaches me, like, to zoom out and try to live like the most simple life as possible. Like, keep things as black and white as possible. So yeah, that's kind of my approach to it. Just tapping into nature, not being on my phone as much as possible.
So that screen time is pretty low, huh?
Yeah, it's low. It's low for sure.
Do you like going like hikes and stuff? How do you do that? Like, when you say going out in the sun, is it hikes? Is it maybe just going to the park with the wife and your kid, or is it what does that look like?
Every day's different. Like, some mornings I may just get straight out of bed, leave my phone, and like run up to the square. And literally after my run, I'll just sit in the sun for a little bit, get some good vitamins. And but other days I may be like, hey, family, let's go to Kennesaw Mountain.
Yeah.
And then we'll hike and bring the baby with us. So every day is different. But I do try to be conscious of like getting enough sun. Cause like,
That's interesting. I've never heard that. Getting enough sun. It plays a key role.
bro, I'm a geek, bro. When it comes to this stuff, I'm a geek because it's like I read and I learned that, like, if we wake up, leave our apartment or leave our home, get into our car, go to our work, we're in a building all day, and then like we wonder why we'll have like seasonal depression because we're not getting the correct nutrients. We're not getting enough vitamin D from the sun. So I try to make sure, like, yo, I'm stepping outside and I'm getting that sun.
So when you're saying seasonal depression, how big do you think of a role does mental health play when having such a lot going on, like having a store, doing all these things?
Bro, the more I work on my personal life, like, the better I am as a person, the better the business is gonna reflect. But if I'm like, you know, having old habits or, you know, just doing things that aren't really serving me or serving my family or just serving the business, then it's kind of detrimental to everything that I'm trying to accomplish. So I kind of have to be my best, but also like give myself that grace too, like when I fall short.
Okay. So what advice would you give to someone trying to blend their passion with business, especially young entrepreneurs that are going through those setbacks, like maybe not having enough bread, not being able to just wake up and hustle the same way you did when you were opening up a store?
I would say everybody's path is different, and don't get caught up in the way things look online. And also, like, make sure that you're like allocating time towards your passion every single day, whether it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And like sooner than later, those days will start stacking up and you'll start gaining some sort of traction if you stay consistent with that, you know? Because I know a lot of people, like, they'll go the route of like having a corporate job, and then they'll be working on their side thing, and then it's like they got to save enough money to take that risk to invest into that.
Yeah.
But the whole time they're working on that side business while they got their main thing.
Right.
So I would say every single day, like, you have to put that time in towards, I don't know what it may be, but you got to put that time in.
Definitely, like, you know, I could tell you've definitely poured a lot into the store, but not only just throughout all the things you've done, like you were saying, basketball, music, you take your time with everything. And I think that's the most important thing to having anything successful, is just taking your time and just being consistent on it, never giving up. Those, like we were talking about before, those trials and tribulations, they can't be taken as trials and tribulations. They have to be taken as lessons.
Yeah, because you're going to get the L regardless.
Yeah.
Whether you do something or whether you don't do something. Like, you're going to take L's.
Right.
You know, and I'm not done taking L's. Like, I still take L's, bro.
But 2 L's is a W.
Yeah.
So
2 L's is a W. That's real.
So, all right. So finally, for the people that haven't pulled up to 10 Power Spring Street yet, what can they expect when they walk in to collect the ATL?
Hey, you said it a minute ago. They can feel like they're at home. They can feel like they can just enjoy their shopping experience. They can connect with the family. They can connect with the clothes. Like, you'll never get the energy that you're coming in and it's like, yo, you gotta buy something. If not, leave. That's never gonna be the case.
That's how a lot of people feel, though. I feel like even me, like, as a younger kid, when I go into these stores, like, you see, obviously, like we were talking about earlier, like round 2, you see it on YouTube, you see just the presence, and you think, oh my God, that's so cool. I would love to just work. Like, for me, like, my dream job as a little kid was Foot Locker.
Yeah.
Just being around all these Jordans and just all this crazy stuff. But, like, when you walk into these stores, like, you feel like either you buying something, you got to get out.
Yeah.
Either you don't got that fit on that matches the vibe, or you got to get out.
Yeah, I mean, bro, if I'm being real, like, if I'm shopping for myself in a store, if I'm not being greeted or, like, I'm already mentally clocked out.
Right.
It's not even about what you got. At that point, I'm just like, bro, like, I don't want to shop here because everything is about experience. If I go out to a restaurant, I want it to be the best possible experience if I'm spending my money.
Right.
If I'm tipping.
Exactly.
You know?
Let the folks out there know how they can collect the ATL, how they can find you on social media and all that stuff.
Collected ATL for all the handles. TikTok, Instagram. I don't know if we got X or Twitter or something like that, but yeah, that's the handle. And I'm Tate, 93 AMG.
SoundCloud, Apple Music. Like, come on, bro, you gotta promote the music.
Man, the music is on the back burner for now.
Okay. Coming soon, though. Coming soon.
We'll see.
Y'all gonna see me in the back of a music video. Y'all gonna see me. All right, Hella Inspired family. I appreciate y'all clocking in with us here at Hella Inspired, here at Collect the ATL. Shout out to Tate. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate it.